Hey Internet students, Dr. Z here for another exciting episode of Do-It-Yourself Homestead Build Out for your off-grid retreat. This is probably going to be a quicker video because essentially for plumbing there's only four aspects. One is drainage of the appliance or component that you're plumbing. You have to install an air vent. And then, of course, the hot and cold water lines would also be a part of your plumbing. So tools that are needed is going to be hammer, cordless screw gun, tool belt with ample supplies, level, PEX crimpers. You could use shark bite as well. I had shark bite. They work pretty good. Solder, flux, blowtorch, drill bits, screwdriver set, copper pipe cutter, PEX piping, PEX crimping connectors, PVC cement primer, interior PVC for plumbing, liquid foam, brackets, plumbing fixtures, such as toilets, sinks, showers, washers, et al. This is not going to be such a big video presentation as I just said. So fasten your DIY seat belt and be ready for the ride here. I'm just going to cover a couple of the plumbed in components to the house. Everything is pretty much going to be the same four components. So you'll learn a lot about plumbing in this process. And hopefully you've watched at least 50 hours of internet videos on plumbing from your home. I know that a lot of internet videos are not good. A lot of these you have to search for, but I try to find the corporate internet videos from corporate websites, usually training videos. They seem to work very well in teaching you. And then, of course, you have code that goes along with all of this. And the goal of this lesson, internet students, is to get you up to code in plumbing. If you do plumb your own off-grid retreat, it's fine. I did it myself. However, it's always best to have an inspection and signed off because that looks good for a real estate agent should you ever have to sell it. Or if you live out your life there and your heirs are going to sell it someday, you don't want them to be putting in, buku amounts of money to get it up to code. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to install hot and cold water lines, understand how they come from your trunk feed in your basement. And in the next video, we'll show you how to hook up the water cistern and actually put water into those lines. How to hook up plumbing fixtures in your home, how to properly drain all of these drains. And remember, they go to your sewer trunk line. And if you're off-grid like I am, it's actually going to go to your septic tank. A lot of people think that just the toilet goes to the septic tank. That's not true. Your shower drain, your sinks, washers, any type of drain will go to the septic tank to get outside the house. I do know that they have different types of drainage for off-grid retreats. You can have what they call a black drain, which is it goes to your septic tank, and then you can have gray water, which actually is just water from washing dishes and things, which can go out to your garden or to another filter, which goes to your garden. So that might be something that you invest into. I just have one main trunk of drainage into the septic tank. I don't have gray water lines. Also, internet videos will help you with your technical aptitude on utilizing new tools and the meaning of P-traps. And P-traps are very important if you want to keep that oxus smell out of your house from your human feces waste. So we're going to cover that. Step 1, planning the milestone. The first step is always to consult your certified architecture blueprint plans, as I've always said before. Remember, you should have made a copy of each level of your floors, and use a ruler and a pencil. And with me, I actually put in the actual PVC pipes on these diagrams, and it really helped me understand what to purchase first of all, elbows, T's, P-traps, and then the physical workload that it was going to entail. and I reviewed it a few times to make sure it was correct. And one thing is I didn't realize that a plumbing fixture had a vent, an air vent, which helps backfill when like flush the toilet, or you have water discharging from a sink after washing dishes. You need to backfill that pipe with air because that's what pushes the water out. So that was kind of interesting to see how that all comes into play, and where the air vent is placed. Is it placed after the P-trap, before the P-trap? All this is coming up, students. So tip, you should already went to the Home and Garden store and have measured bathroom vanity, kitchen countertops, cutouts for the sinks, width of the refrigerator, width of the range, and all showers and tubs, including the toilet. All these measurements are used to better place drains, vents, and hot and cold water lines. And this is very important. If you don't purchase these items beforehand, you may have a debacle on your hand after you've plumbed your house, and later you want to go back and buy the items and they are gone, they're sold out. You have to be exact when you're plumbing the house, and that's why I say you're going to have to bite the bullet up front and put down the cash and take custody of these components for plumbing into your off-grid retreat, and then go ahead and start plumbing for the exact dimensions. If you have a 32-inch vanity for your kitchen or for your bathroom sink, you know that the sink drain is going to be half of 32 inches. So essentially it's 16 inches on center. If you have a 40-inch vanity, it's going to be 20 inches on center. So you want to make sure you get your holes right. And things like that you have to be very cognizant of. And that was kind of a large sum of money up front. I think I purchased the range, the refrigerator, the washer and the dryer, all the sinks, the toilets, the vanities, the showers, and then all of the accessories that go with that. Especially in the bathroom, you probably want some nice shower on-off controls for your water that look nice, and for the sink as well. So you're going to have to fork over some cash in order to get this step done. Step 2, air venting fixtures. There's a difference between sewer lines and actual PVC venting lines inside your home. Remember, your septic tank and the sewer trunk line video, that you used a sewer PVC pipe to plumb to the inside of the home, where it's going to be coupled into the PVC plastic pipe for interior use. There is a difference between sewer plastic and PVC plastic inside your home, and you need to make note of that. There may be trips back and forth to the Home and Garden store on repeated occasions, but this is trial and error, and you're learning. And by the end of the project, you'll have an expert plumbing knowledge for your off-grid retreat that you can take with you. Now, for every plumbing fixture, there has to be an air vent. You will have one main pipe that comes in from the roof of the home, and it has to be a few feet above the peak of the roof. So make sure you understand where that placement is going to go now. And you don't want to have it on the edge of the roof or the low part. You want it on the peak. That means that every plumbing fixture will have to parrot off of this master air vent to the roof, and of course it forces the water to drain properly once it's hooked up. Tip: if you're confused about what I'm saying, please consult online videos to understand where air venting system are installed for every plumbing fixture of the home. The air vents are also coined in the interior PVC pipe, coupled down from a 4-inch diameter main air vent pipe all the way into your plumbing fixture, which is usually down to 2 inches or 1.5 inches, depending on the drain that you install. Once you understand and go all of this, go ahead and plumb all of your air venting runs, but do not glue anything together just yet. Again, I didn't glue anything together, and to be honest with you, I wanted to make sure it was all up to code. So I actually had scheduled the plumber. After I plumbed everything, I scheduled the plumber to come in and do the gas lines. On the same day, I was going to glue up the entire home, and he came in and he looked at things, and I think I had to tweak one or two things, but after that, he said it looked great, and I could just start gluing everything. So it took me all day to glue all this up. Remember, I put it all together, and it's all hanging into the floor joists in the basement and up the walls and everything. And he was very helpful, this plumber, and basically said I could be a plumber just like him. So whatever that means, you know. Step 3, hot and cold water PEX lines. Let's focus for a moment on hot and cold water lines. They have to be installed up to code. Now, PEX lines is very interesting, students, because it kind of runs like electrical wire, although it's not as pliable, but you're getting away from the old copper plumbing, which requires blow torches, solderings, couplings, exact measurements. With PEX lines, it's plastic, blue line for cold water, and a plastic hot water line is red, color red, and it goes down to your permanent manifold system into your basement. Remember that the manifold is fed with a 3/4 inch, either from the hot water tank or from your pressure tank for cold water. Then it feeds up 8 separate 1/2 inch manifold secure PEX lines that you can go to 8 different plumbing fixtures in the house. And again, you're going to run them like water, and everything requires hot and cold water, except for your toilet. It's going to be cold water, and your refrigerator will be cold water. And then if you have an ice maker or something like that, a bar or something, it might just be cold water going into there. So, but please consult your plumbing diagram that you created earlier from your certified architecture blueprints. And you'll be learning how to staple the PEX lines at the proper lengths, making the proper cuts, and then crimping them, and then also using shark bites, which are connectors, elbows, T's, and the like. So at this point, you do not want to hook up your red and blue PEX lines to your plumbing fixtures until you finish the floor and interior walls prior to installing the plumbing accessories. So make sure you leave ample number of feet extra for each one of your plumbing fixtures, as the PEX lines protrude through the floor or protrude through the walls depending on where they're at. Step 4, draining the fixtures. This will be the last step. So once you have the air vents, hot and cold water PEX lines going, we need to drain to the main septic trunk line. Again, you may have a gray water feed, which then you have separate drains for the sinks, you know, that would go there. Be sure that you're using the correct diameter drain line for your region, and it's up to code. I used a 2-inch drain line for each one of my plumbing fixtures, and then left them sticking out of the floor much longer than they needed to be, since I would come back later and cut those down to size. Be sure you leave the proper slope from your drain pipe, students, that goes to your main sewer trunk line, because you want it to drain down into the main trunk line. Okay, you don't want it to back up. So I recommend putting everything together first, and then going back for a second pass and gluing them together, as I said prior. So, and also the toilet was not 2-inch drain, by the way. It was 3 inches, if I recall. That was the only one that was bigger. So that's it. You're now a professional plumber, and when your plumber comes over to do your black iron gas lines, you can have him inspect, and you can glue it all together when he's there, and then maybe have him help you if he's got extra time, and then you're all ready for the inspector to come over. So in closing, please click the thumbs up button, students, down at the bottom. You know where it's at. Hit the subscribe button, and then drop us $5 in a donation at University1310.org. And we'll see you in the next video. And Godspeed. And if you have any questions, you can drop me an email from the email on in the notes of this video, and or go to the website and see our email off the website, and you can contact me that way as well. So I'd like to hear your stories too. It'd be great. All right. So Godspeed and have a very nice evening. Good night.